Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Rare. Thanks for joining me today as we talk about the legacy of Saul. As everybody knows, it was probably one of the biggest matches in Carnage Cup history. And even after it was just a match, it became a series that, in my honest opinion, and many others, thought it was untouchable and probably will never be duplicated again. And if anyone can or will try to duplicate the violence that we did, I welcome it, and I would love to sit front row for this. So let's dig into the legacy of Saul. At Carnage Cup 7, my very first Carnage Cup, we wanted to make a big splash. We wanted to go overboard because the hype behind me that was told to Kevin was, John Rare would do anything. My debut match for IWA, I had razor wire wrapped around my head, and I had to get cut out. So where do I go from there? Saul Deathmatch. And as everybody knows, Thumbtack Jack and Drake Younger had the first Saul Deathmatch, and everybody thought it was one of the most violent matches at the time. And our whole idea for this was to just outdo that match and to go overboard, and we honestly didn't think that it was going to be as overboard as it was. And some of the spots in the match ended up happening just on the fly. There was a few spots that didn't get used actually in the first one, and probably all of them. But this was the first time I ever met Spider Boudreaux, and he became a very close friend of mine, and I miss him. It hurt so much when we lost him. And what he did for me, for my whole career, he kick-started it at Saul 1, and after that, he continued to help me over the years. But, that day, Saul 1, me and him were just discussing things in the back. I brought 2 box cutters with me. And, I told him my idea was to, have him gig his head. And I was just going to rake it in and, do it like that. And try to, sell the mystique of a box cutter being raked across his head while he was, gushing blood. And that's whenever he just flat out said, just stab me in the arm. I've said this before. He was like, don't hit me, or don't hit one of my tattoos, and we'll be okay. So I was like, full on stab? Okay. I wasn't against it. I wanted to do something that day that would be remembered. And I honestly did not think that was going to be as huge as it was. 10 years later, it's still talked about. Schlack was just talking to Nicolas Gage about it. And, everybody talks about it. It's one of those spots that I can almost guarantee you in another 10 years, somebody's going to be bringing it up. Kind of like the Pondo spot with the scissors. you know, it changed because of how violent it looked and was. And what people don't realize is that was the least of Spider's injuries that night, to tell you the truth. You know, he fucked up his hip. Horrible. He was actually supposed to have been in the Clusterfuck Battle Royal later on that night, and he was going to win it. But he was in so much pain from the fall off of the Coke machine that he was done. And the Coke machine spot was kind of got altered at the same time. When he was climbing up the ladder, there was supposed to have been a piece of glass up there. Somebody moved the glass. So when I got up there, you know, I was still a little greener at this time. So when I got up there to grab the glass and hit him with it, it wasn't there. So I looked at him and it's like, the glass is gone. And, you know, he was just like, fucking hit me or something. You know, we improvised at that point. Because, you know, this is the go home. But it was his idea for the Spider Driver into the razor table, you know, straight razor blades on the table, and that was his finisher. So, you know, when everybody saw that, it was obviously match is over. John's losing. And, you know, I get my shoulder up at the last minute, last ditch effort to stay in the match. And you even hear the commentary team, you know, like, what? He kicked out? You know, it was to build that character that this young rookie, John Rare, just kicked out of a finisher by one of the toughest sons of bitches in the game. And, you know, that's what I'm saying when Spider helped me so much, is he made the Angel of Death character who he was. And, you know, in the second round, I fought Neil Diamond Cutter, and it was a bloody Exorcist death match. And I accidentally kicked out of his finisher, too. He said, go home, and I actually didn't hear it. So I kicked out of his finisher, so I kicked out of both of their finishers in one night. But Neil did pick up the victory. But this is Carnage Cup 7. So the Saw match pissed so many people off in the business as well. Like, the leader of the Occult Fiction, can't remember his name, but he told me in the back that, you know, it was horrible, and he even told me personally that we set back death matches years because of that spot. And, you know, there were so many other people that hated that fucking spot. You know, hundreds, thousands probably hated that spot. And I remember Danny Havoc, before we went out there, he told me to be really careful because of the razor blades and everything. And, you know, he probably overheard some of the spots we were talking about. And, you know, I took it to heart to be careful. But it did not stop me at all from doing any of the crazy shit. We left everything in the ring that night. The only spot that did not happen, if you look on the camera, look on Carnage Cup 7, is after I stabbed him, I went and actually got a saw blade. It was about a 6-inch saw blade. And I was actually going to attack him. He was going to reverse it. He was actually going to saw my arm and, you know, cut it. He was going to put a slice in my arm. But because everything got rushed after the stab spot, and which it did get rushed because of the referee. And for the longest time I was mad about it. But I understand he was looking out for Spider, because Spider was a bloody mess. Spider knew where he was at, and he was coherent. But he was a bloody mess. But a few things got rushed up after that, but pretty much we got every spot in. I picked up the victory. Standing ovation for both of us. You know, I got back in the ring, celebrated. Spider walked to the back. Spider told me personally later he didn't remember anything after the fallaway slam off the Coke machine until he got to the back. He remembered being in the back, being worked on, but he didn't remember the walk to the back. And, you know, we talked about it whenever he wasn't going to do the other match because his hip was just so fucked up. And then he slammed his head off of the concrete as well. So, you know, he wasn't in no condition to do another match. I got hurt off the Coke machine as well. I hurt my hip, but it wasn't as bad that night as I thought it was. You know, weeks later, as I did other matches, it began to really affect me.
Fucking axe. Oh, shit! Oh! Oh, God. No way! Oh! Oh! Got the order.
I don't he's bleeding an awful lot. I tied it off the best I could.
Hey man, you care if I take a picture of you?
Come on, buddy. He's all right. I had worse. Get some super fun. Get some super fun. Get some super fun.
But in between Saw 1 and Saw 2, everybody knows, I broke my leg, fractured my hip, and Carnage Cup 8 was announced, and I was still on crutches, still, you know, just trying to get back to walking. Kevin already called me, booked me for Saw 2. I was like, I'll do it for Spider, because this was going to be Spider's year, Carnage Cup 8. He was going to go out there, and he was going to win Carnage Cup. And a lot of the hate started filling in for Spider at this point, and he actually backed out of Carnage Cup momentarily. And I told Kevin, I was like, if Spider's backing out of Carnage Cup, I'm not going to do it this year, because the whole reason I'm doing it was to do Saw 2 and put Spider over. Like, this was Spider's year. So, you know, him and me, we talked. He jumped back on board. And, you know, his matches at Carnage Cup 8 started with him and Bryant Woods in the Spider Web death match, whatever that was. Killer match. So, we both advanced. I beat the legend, Madman Pondo, who has always supported the Stab Spot. You know, he's been one of those gentlemen from the beginning that did not shit on the spot. So, much love to Madman Pondo. And Spider and me, we talked over all these kick-ass spots for, Saw 2. And even with the spots, I was still limited on what I could do. I didn't want to take the high bumps anymore right now, especially because I was just getting off the damn injury. I still wasn't comfortable taking bumps at all. And we did what we could with my limits. And, I thought it was fucking good. I still think out of all the Saw matches with me and Spider, Saw 2 was my least favorite. But we did so much shit in there. Like the power or the grinder to his arm. I got him twice. A lot of people said I didn't even get him. But if you look at it fucking close, I got him. And a funny story about that is, I think I've told this before. When we first got there, Kevin showed us the grinder, and he was like, what are y'all going to do? And I pitched. I was like, well, why don't I just take it to your arm, real clean and smooth? And, I actually took the grinder with one hand and took it to my own arm. I cut myself worse than I cut Spider's. So, and when I did that, of course, Kevin grabbed me, loved me. He was like, goddamn man, I love you. But, I got him twice with it, and it was real smooth and easy. Looked damn good on camera. And, of course, didn't hurt Spider. We did the saw blades. Crazy shit. And when I mentioned the backbreaker, which for the record, in all the Saw matches, the backbreaker is the one spot I regret. It fucked me up for a few weeks. My back, I swear, I broke my back. A spinal injury.
They tried to cut his arm off.
Tried to saw his arm.
Literally tried to saw his arm off. Sidewalk slam.
Oh,
Top of the tanker.
on the back of that chair.
Ponto's like, no way. Nah, no way over.
Ouch.
They made even Pondo cringe. That's
If
something,
you
right?
make Madman Pondo cringe.
Then that's saying something.
Oh my God.
I was horrible. Like, I went to Mac Daddy Matt's for WrestleMania that night, or the next night, whatever it was, and I couldn't move. Like, it just felt like my whole body was shut down because of that move. And, Madman Pondo was cringing, marking out in the audience when he seen it. And, that was awesome. I've always said that I thought it was awesome that so many of the workers would mark out and watch it. And that's what becomes so special about Saw, is not only were the fans out there to enjoy it, but so were the workers. And we delivered, crazy bumps. I bulldog him onto a mega push pin table, and he took it flush, and just crazy shit. And, the go home was a spider driver off of like a 16-foot fucking ladder onto some saw blades, which, got in my back really bad. But you couldn't see it on camera how bad it was, but when you look at my back now, I got a damn 6-inch plus scar on there that was from the spider driver. And to build my character even more, when he hit me with that spider driver, you could see me still moving, trying to get to the rope and get away from him. But he grabbed me, got the 1, 2, 3. And then, I talked to him right there in the ring and told him, don't let nothing stop him now from winning the Carnage Cup. Because, as I mentioned, I only did this for Spider. And it was to put his character over. you know, like he did mine at 7. I put his character over at Carnage Cup at 8. Then he had to go to the main event, Hellraiser Deathmatch, which was just fucking insane. Him and Tremont came off the tractor trailers, and he won it. So, you know, Spider won Carnage Cup 8. And, you know, earned that damn respect from a lot of people that probably didn't like him. A lot of people shit on him. And, you know, fuck them.
This looks bad for Spider. Oh, God.
He got himself impaled. What is this?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm saying great
fucking match.
No. Great freaking match.
Friggin'.
Exactly. Remember, you got damn kids. I mean,
Friggin'
crap.
dragon.
You got kids at home renting rent. You can't rent this. You got to buy it from SmartMarkVideo.com.
Smart Mark for all your independent wrestling needs. Deep South chants going up. It is true. In Deep South, they are bringing the violence here at the Carnage Cup.
Yep. Spider says for everyone. And everybody paying their respects for both of these men. They could have literally died again.
That was a hard-fought match right there.
So, Carnage Cup 9 rolls around. And everybody's already thinking there's going to be another Saw. The Saw, at this point, has become such a legacy that people wanted to see it at Carnage Cups. People were requesting it. You know, before anyone would even say it, oh man, we got to see another Saw match. So, everybody knows I opened up against Christian Cross. And, you know, to me, that's still one of the biggest upsets in Carnage Cup history. And who knows if we'll ever see one that is bigger than that. And then he opened up against JD Horror. Now, obviously, Christian Cross beat me. Spider was out there with a slight distraction. You know, he didn't get involved, but Christian beat me. So then I returned the favor when Spider took on Horror a little bit later. I actually celebrated after the match, you know, that Spider lost. And then JD, of course, attacks me. But so then that set up Saw 3 for day 2, Carnage Cup 9. And for the first time, it was IWA Deep South Champion versus LXW heavyweight champion, which was me, and Spider was IWA champion. So it was champion versus champion. First time ever. Saw 3. Quite frankly, my favorite Saw. A lot of people say the same thing, that it was the best Saw. And Kevin wanted another step spot. We didn't tell him no, that we weren't going to do it. We just didn't do it. Because at this point, we wanted to prove that we could go out there and have a killer fucking death match without the, what they call hack and slash, going out there and not cutting each other up. We went out there and just used the weapons that were out there, like, razor wire, barbed wire, obviously the damn razor blades, because, the razor blades fucked up my hand. We also had the cross bundles in this, the light tube bundles. So we went out there, and in my opinion, stole the fucking show, to tell you the truth. I thought it was the best Saw match ever, and as I mentioned, we just used the weapons that were out there cleanly. Did not want to do the stab spot, so we didn't do it. The go home was a very big fall off of the balcony there, on all kinds of shit. There was, barbed wire boards, salt, barbed wire. I don't know what all Kevin threw on there. Kevin just kept throwing shit on there. I'm surprised he didn't catch it on fire. But we did a big fall away slam off of the balcony, and it was a double pin. So no one won Saw 3. And our first thought about that was the fans were going to shit on it, because originally I was picked to win that one. Kevin wanted me to win it. And when me and Spider talked about it, we didn't think it'd be a good idea for him to lose 2 times in the tournament, or just Carnage Cup in general, 2 back-to-back losses, while he was the IWA Deep South champion. And at the same time, didn't think it was a good idea for me to lose 2 times being the LXW heavyweight champion. So we came to that medium right there where, why don't we do a double down? And it was risky. It really was, because we didn't know how the fans were going to do it, especially the Deep South fans. We didn't know how they were going to take that no winner. And surprisingly, they took it very well. They didn't, they actually, great fucking match. They chanted, all the good shit that they chanted. So, what we set out to do that night succeeded. 100%. And to this day, still my favorite Saw match. And, we were both, I'd say we were both pretty good after that match, like injury-wise. We both walked away smooth. I had some cuts, some decent cuts, but that's it. A funny story about that match was, when you see me put my hands down at the beginning and they go through a glass bowl, a really big chunk of glass goes straight in my hand. And, there was a nurse there that night. She pulled some of them out. But there actually ended up being a decent little chunk still in there that would bug me for weeks, maybe even months. And I got irritated with it finally and I took a little scalpel and, cut a little incision in my hand. And was feeling around in there if I could feel anything hard. And be damned if I found a piece of glass. So, I took tweezers, got in there, pulled it out, and I'm telling you, the damn piece of glass was about that damn long in my hand. And that was, like I said, weeks, maybe months later. But I enjoyed that match. And both of us came off strong after that match. He was still the IWA champion. I was still LXW heavyweight champion. So, obviously, then there was some LXW shows. I want to say, this was around the Ubermenschen time, so obviously the LXW shows were running strong at that point. Him and his partner were the Sickness. We were feuding back and forth on all these shows, and it set up for a big main event at LXW Thunder Mania, which was yet again title for title. But we're not going to get into that right now because we're talking about the legacy of Saul. So, Saul 3, classic. Loved it. Probably couldn't duplicate it. But Carnage Cup 10, the 10th anniversary of this hellacious deathmatch tournament. One of the scariest, one of the most hardcore, over-the-top deathmatch tournaments in the world. Here comes the 10th anniversary of one, so of course it's got to be huge, over the top. And they announced, obviously, Saul was going to be the main event. The finals for Carnage Cup 10 was going to be Saul 4. Even though they didn't say Saul 4, they said every fucking thing that was out there ringside. When they should have just said Saul 4. It was Saul 4, people. But whatever. So it was a hellacious tournament. First round I had Colt 45, and definitely wishing Colt, good wishes right now. He's in the hospital currently, so everybody say a prayer for Colt. I defeated him first round, hellacious match, loved it. Second round, I had my favorite Mexican, my favorite beaner, I can say that, Chuy Martinez. We fucking killed it. I loved me and Chuy's match. He put me over, beautiful. We told a story like none other. Maybe one of the greatest stories of all time. But that put me in the finals. Probably the biggest underdog in that match. And I was going against my nemesis, Spider Boudreaux, his tag team partner, Bryant Woods, and then Josh Crane. Josh Crane, yeah. So, out of those names, obviously, I'm the smallest one, the underdog. Saul 4. Carnage Cup 10, main event. All these fucking deadly ass weapons out there this year. Razor wire was on everything. I took a power bomb on the razor wire board. Gashed me up really fucking good on one of my damn arms. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. Don't light up too well. But gashed my arm up. I took a throw from the outside into the razor wire ropes.
Oh, God. The razor wire. That's razor wire. Ladies and gentlemen, likes to stab people. He is actually carving up Spider Boudreaux with razor wire. Oh, my God. No. Please stop this. Stop this right now. This is not going to stop until 3 of these men can no longer move. In his hair now. Look at the hair dangling off of the razor wire. It's caught in there. Again, Rogan. No, not going to do a thing. No. He said. That Freddy Krueger sweater, John.
And it sliced my finger. I don't know if you can see that. It sliced my finger, and a piece of meat was just hanging from it. So, obviously, I had to get wrapped up. I went to the ramp and started getting doctored up. And, there's so many rumors about this Carnage Cup main event that there was a group or a set of people, I don't know how many was in it, and I will never repeat the names. Ever. But I was told prior to the main event that a set of guys did not want me to win it, and they were going to screw me out of the main event. They were going to come from the back, or ringside, or maybe the ring, and make sure that I did not win. And Spider knew about it, and he did. All he told me was if I felt uncomfortable at any time to get near him, because he was going to make sure that I won this fucking tournament. And there's a set few people out there that know who I'm talking about. They know the story. They were in the back that night, and I just refused to say the names. I'll do them more respect than what they were going to show me. But it didn't happen. And if you listen to me and Gene Jackson's interview that I did with him, the king of all wrestling media, Gene Jackson, I did an interview with him, and we discussed this topic. And, it didn't happen. I won it cleanly, like I was supposed to. Me and Spider came off of the side of the building onto some platforms or some boards. It was a wild finish. I used an electric saw on them. We had fireworks. Like, the fireworks were crazy as shit. The razor wire. And to tell you the truth, like, I did not remember a lot of the main event. I was honestly pretty wasted. Me and Spider chugged a bottle. I think it was like Evan Williams. It was an Evan Williams or Jim Beam, and it was one of the big bottles. Like, we chugged that bitch before we went out there. And I'm not like that, but this weekend was a 2-day tournament, and I fucking had like a cold or something, and I felt like shit. I felt like shit both days, but I still went out there and delivered all my matches. But we had moonshine in the back. The moonshine was absolutely crazy. We had moonshine, whiskey, so I was drunk as hell. I couldn't tell you, how I got through that main event, except that the guys out there were just leading me, and we put on a bloody fucking match. And the razor wire spot, whenever I got thrown face first into it, is probably one of my favorite spots that I've ever done, because of the brutality of it. I've mentioned it before a few times that I don't believe anybody out there ever will use the razor wire the way I did. I never gimmicked it. I just straight ass worked it. I used it. Gashed me open many times. But me and Spider came off that fucking side of the building. I got the pinfall. And a lot of the workers were out there. Chewy was one of the first people around me. And he may have been out there because of the other situation. I don't know. I've honestly never probably talked to him about that. But he was right there for the finish. Spider was out. He hit his head, and I think a fucking board landed on his head. I landed on the board. He was completely fucked. I know when I sat there and asked him if he was okay, and looked him in his eyes and asked him if he was okay, he's just glared back, no response. And you can look on the video. I'm telling him, check him, don't worry about me. I was good. But he was just out there. And, Freak Show was out there. Freak Show was right there with his brother. And, Freak Show and Spider had those two were closer than anyone, probably. But, Spider put me over again. And, I won Carnage Cup 10. The biggest win of my career, obviously. you know, we hugged. Me and Spider hugged in the ring after that, and you know that moment there, the workers and Spider just embracing me after the win. You know, I know I was full of tears. I could barely talk afterwards. It was probably, you know, honestly probably one of the greatest moments of my career. You know, I've always considered that my biggest win. And, you know, besides that, when I won the IWA championship from Spider in that 7-way TLC match, you know, those were, to me, the biggest wins of my career. And obviously, look at it, 3 of the biggest wins of my career all came over Spider Boudreaux putting me over in a match. And, you know, 2 of them were Saul matches. So, you know, I've said it before. Without Spider Boudreaux, there would have never been John Rare. Period. You know. And that's something, you know, that's something I can never thank him for again. But I hope he knew it. Carnage Cup 10, you know, it was in the books. You know, I went home. I remember going home. We had to pull over. I got sick on the way home.
Man been eliminated.
No, oh wait, firecracker board.
Oh, God!
That was well.
Stop this!
No, oh, God! On his arm. God.
But Carnage Cup 11 rolled around. And, you know, at this point, everyone, they won't Saul, they won't Saul, they won't Saul. That's all they talk about. At this point, Saul had became almost more important than Carnage Cup itself. And I know that's big to say, but people always said, Saul, Saul, we got to see Saul. Is there going to be a Saul? What's the Saul match? So, you know, Kevin pitched for the first time ever, neither one of us being in the tournament, 2 out of 3, Saul deathmatch. And, you know, I agreed to it, obviously he did, but that's when I pitched the idea. I was like, well, let's not do all 3 of them, you know, back to back to back. Let's separate them throughout the day into 3 separate matches. And, you know, Kevin obviously agreed. And, you know, I had complete creative control over the matches. And I got with Spider about it. I was like, knowing that you're going to win the main event, or, you know, the final one, I was like, let's make you the underdog this time. I win the first one. And, you know, I fucked up my ribs in the very first match, so it was fucking hell. He scoop slammed me onto the board, and I clipped the damn chair on the way down. You can see the damn chair bend and break from me on the way down. I had, big gashes from this one. The porcupine quills, spiders, we brought every fucking thing out there for this. I know I hit him with a killer fucking knee, and if I'm right, it fucking injured him. Because I remember when I hit him, I was just like, oh shit, I nailed him fucking good for that. And we gave everything in just the first 2 matches that day. So by the time the third one rolled around, we were done gashed. The gas tanks were on empty. And we were sitting in the back, and we were talking to each other, and we were like, we're done. We got to go out there for one more match that doesn't have padding on the ring, razor wire ropes, and the ropes were going to be on fire. And it was like, what can we do at this point? We were both fucking fucked up. We couldn't bump. But a testament to both of our characters is we went out there and still put on a 10-minute plus match. Completely fucking injured, completely fucked up. I couldn't breathe. I know my ribs were wrapped. He was fucked up. He could barely stand. He could barely get up off his knees. He could barely get in the ring. We kept giving that day. Even when we said, we were like, we've given enough. They'll be happy. The match will be put over, and the match will speak for itself. We still just kept giving. I went, hand first into the razor wire that was on fire, and that was just an unplanned spot. It was just a fucking spare the moment spot that I came up with, and just absolutely brutal shit. And when we were doing this, never knew that was going to be Spider Boudreaux's last match. And he won. I did the big fall off the ladder to fireworks with my ribs fucked up. And if you were there, Smart Mark didn't put it on the fucking DVD. Smart Mark, I swear, fucking takes so much good shit out of the DVDs. But I was writhing in pain after the pinfall. And, they put me on a fucking gurney thing. But before they could tie me down, I got off of it and walked. But, if I knew that was going to be Spider's last match, I would have definitely just gave him a hug, embraced him, wanted to thank him for what he did for me throughout my whole career. But I didn't get that chance.
Rare. Hooks him up, big scoop, slow! God!
Safety pins and glass.
And, oh, God, those are porcupine quills. Look at them sticking out of the arm. Oh my God, that is sick. I love it. That is
Porcupine quills. Where else?
Oh shit, Ed! Oh! That fan. Oh, get to right into the fan, right. Kevin with the assist there. Oh!
Into the bowels of hell.
And, oh my God. Oh, the razor wire wrapped around the midsection of John Rare, the hands going into the top.
Holy shit!
Holy shit!
Because at the Angel of Death tournament, which was announced ahead of time, that the main event was going to be a Saul Legacy match. Originally, Spider was booked on the tournament, and we were going to fight again in a four-way match, which technically is actually going to be a five-way, but scheduled four-way match. But he wasn't able to make it, and that was my retirement show. So I chose J Impact.
Meanwhile, in the ring, Impact just continuing to brutalize John Rare. Rolls him over. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Is that? J
I'm
Impact.
still anxious to see if that is an elimination. Look at the respect Mr. John Rare has received from this
Absolutely, the man this tournament has been named after.
Which is why I'm surprised that he was the first man potentially eliminated from this final round of this tournament. Because he is by far one of the strongest competitors out there.
It is elimination.
To be the one to defeat me that night and cost me my career. And, I was going to take my bags and go home in the Saul Legacy. And that's on Angel of Death tournament. And, that match there was me, J Impact, Blaine Evans, Aiden Blackheart, and Travis Dyke. And, Travis Dykes, can't give that man enough credit. He's one of them that goes out there and will use the razor wire. I've seen that man take shit that other people just won't fucking do. Blaine Evans, phenomenal worker. Very underrated. Don't understand why that man's not on more shows. But I chose for J Impact to be the one to defeat me, and I was cool with being retired.
Still no sign of Aiden Blackheart. I don't think anybody needs to check on him, perhaps. And now John Rare and J Impact are fighting one another.
Oh no! He's trying to put his face into that saw. That saw has been fastened to that table.
Oh God! Oh God!
I can't believe this. I cannot. I can see his bone being.
But when it came down to it, I got pulled back into the business again. And as everybody knows, Carnage Cup 12 was supposed to happen. Me and Spider was going to meet up one last time. And I wanted him to be the one to put me out of the business finally, for good. But, you know, with his passing, unfortunately that didn't get to happen. We were gonna face each other at, you know, Carnage Cup 12. It was probably gonna be a Saul match, to tell you the truth. But, you know, in my retirement speech that I did at the Angel of Death tournament, I gloated on being the one to defeat and retire Spider Boudreaux. And, you know, if I would have known that we weren't going to do another match ever, I would never have gave that speech. But it was an honor to have been in the ring with Spider so many times, and for him to have put me over as many times as he did. And the Saul match, to me, will never be duplicated in any organization. The violence that we did will always be talked about. We changed so much in the Deep South just by doing that one match. The whole landscape of IWA Deep South changed after that Saul match. When people came to Carnage Cups after that, they wanted another Saul match. That became a match that people requested over and over and over. And you know, what do you do with it? You always have to elevate it, you know, one step, another step. Got to get more violent every time. And, you know, we try to do it on a constant basis. And, you know, with so many of us that were in the Saul matches, three winners, or no, just three competitors that were in the Saul matches won Carnage Cup. That was me, Carnage Cup 10, Spider Boudreaux, Carnage Cup 8, and Josh Crane, Carnage Cup 11. I know Kevin at one point asked me, you know, who would I vote to be in future Saul matches if there was a Saul match, and, you know, I always mentioned Colt 45. You know, I have so much respect for Colt, and, you know, I'm sending out great wishes to him and his family right now, and, you know, please everybody pray for him. And, you know, I miss Spider. He was actually going to do interviews for this when I first announced it, but he was taken away from us too soon. And the only thing I can really say is, you know, I miss you, my brother, and I love you. And thanks for everybody for watching. If you haven't already, go back, rewatch the Saul matches. It'll be something that you'll definitely want to see if you haven't seen them already. And keep your eyes out for all the new stuff I got coming. $10 Fighting is going to be a new promotion in 2021. So I will be heavily involved with them. And keep up with all my stuff on John Rare Films, the John Rare channel. And thanks for watching, everybody.
The honor was always mine. Thank you to the Southern D-South Sands. Thanks for the travel down. What's going on with this, Kevin? And feel free to take anything you want with you as a souvenir. But keep supporting the new religion. Now that I'm not going to be involved, it's in great hands with Matt and Scott, the infidel. Fuck that pumpkin. Fuck that pumpkin. Fuck that pumpkin. Fuck that pumpkin. No evolution.